Okay, so let me show some of our initial designs for the instruction booklet for the GamePad Quest. So here we have our page that's going to introduce people to soldering irons, right? So we're looking at, just quickly describing them, how they work, but in particular showing what the different elements of the soldering iron are and providing that sort of visual infographic that quickly communicates what every part is, how it's used. And of course, we'll have some tips that they can use to, as you get used to this and as you develop, you'll learn this is both art and science. And so you got to be able to sort of understand those tips that people have learned over practice. So we have those, but we also, of course, have a video tutorial that's going to walk people through how to solder and go over all the different ways that you can solder, apply solder, the angle to come in, how heat transfer works, all that stuff. Right now, what I want to do is, I'm trying to look for feedback on how this looks, ways to improve it. We're thinking of, eventually replacing some of these graphics with more video game design themed graphics. So we're looking at that. We're looking at how we can sort of add some final touches. But right now, we're just working on the main layout, making sure all the content is clear and good and presented well. And then we're going to work on sort of adding those details to really make it stand out. Here's an example of sort of a side quest, and you can see we've been toying around with, okay, what if we can have a cool way to really show off our backers for our Kickstarter? So we're kind of thinking of creating little pixel heroes that can represent different parts. And this one really, this is of me with like a little resistor staff right here. So we're just playing around with that right now. We think we're going to do something with that, not sure yet, but just so you have an idea of kind of what kind of design themes we're thinking of incorporating in here. So this wouldn't be a particularly good example for soldering, but I'd actually kind of imagine a hero with like a soldering iron for a sword or something like that. But we'll have to work with some artists to get that done. But here's one of the first side quests, right? So you learn about the tool and then you can go on a side quest adventure using that tool, right? So you get a couple of your components, you get a resistor and an LED, and then to complete the side quest, what you got to do is you're going to have to go to the practice area of your PCB board and solder on those two components. Now, then we invite you to, look at the joints and look at, okay, how did I do? Most people are probably going to do either not enough solder or too much solder, but looking for that concave shape for your solder joint is going to be good. Now, to make this a little more fun, what we're going to encourage people to do is go ahead and short out the two leads from both the resistor and the LED so that we can create complete the circuit. And that way we can connect a 9-volt battery to actually see that LED light up. And of course, we're still working on this final section, how to communicate that. But we're also going to have a video tutorial that just walks people step by step through what you need to do, which we will include some tips if people are having trouble getting the solder to melt, those types of things that are often common. So that's what we're working on, and we just wanted to show off what we're currently doing to try and get this thing ready to be launched. We're working on this every day, and so any feedback or support you can give us for ways to improve it, make it better, we really appreciate. And we're really looking forward to sharing this with the community, getting feedback, and of course, making it even better. So make sure to check out the project page if you haven't already, and we'll have some links in the description if you want to get more information. And thanks for following along with this project. We're really excited to see where this goes.